Welcome to the Harnessing Happiness podcast. Upbeat vibes generated and transferred to you.
And well, hello and welcome to Harnessing Happiness with myself, Sarah J. Naylor. Hello to you all across the globe, and thank you so much for stopping by and listening. Please do subscribe to make sure you never miss a notification to let you know when my next episode has dropped. Anyway, let's get on with it, because today really want to talk about the time when you get to a crossroads in life. I don't know, maybe it's something to do with the fact that I'm now 60 and there's a lot of people I'm talking to of a similar sort of age and demographic. Although, that said, I do know and socialise with people of all age groups. But it's been really interesting, and I think particularly with all that's happening in the world right now in relation to AI and people also facing redundancy, or people returning to work after children or taking early retirement. There are a lot of conversations. In fact, there appear to be an increased level of communication and conversations that I'm having with people right now about and around the subject of, right, what do we do? Where do I go? What do I need to do? Well, I don't know. What am I doing? You know, from people, as I've said, ladies returning to work, particularly ladies who've been off predominantly focusing their working life around their children. I mean, I didn't. I always went straight back to work, but there have been a lot of ladies that do, a lot of women who have stayed off, and then there are people facing early retirement or redundancy, and it changes things because we have become brainwashed into that pattern of going to work hard, get enough money, you can buy this, and it's all conditioning, it's all narrative, it's all been pumped into us. I mean, there's so much complexity to this that I can't even really start to dig into it in a 10-minute soundbite. So suffice to say, that's the phrase I was looking for. Oh, good grief, you can tell I'm not being very well programmed. And that's because I fight against the norm. I think my brain goes all over the place. And you know, for many, many years, all of my life, I've sort of kind of questioned it because I can't keep on one subject, and I won't adhere to anybody's algorithms or any ways of working. I do it my way. And I don't mean that in a sort of a demonstrative rah way. I am my own person, and I know myself, even if I spent many years having been manipulated, if you like, because I didn't realise what was going on in my life. But I have always had the strength of my own conviction, even if it's not been necessarily serving me. I don't know, because everything happens for a reason. We learn from everything. However, what I do know is trusting your instinct, and your gut instinct is vitally important. And I also know that we have been consistently on a drip effect. And I say, the more I learned about narcissism 3 years ago, the more I recognise what's happening globally. So all the stuff that went before was a lesson for me to understand and to learn that what's happening globally through a minute amount of power managing and manipulating everybody on the planet. It's fascinating stuff once you actually open your mind to it and you look beyond what this sort of narrow funnel that we look between. There is so much more out there, and in fact there is so much more in the unseen than there is in the seen, because it's about what we perceive we believe, and what belief systems we have in place, and how that's been conditioned through our childhood, our upbringing, and so on and so forth. And life is an illusion of our own creation. So how we want it to be is what we see and what we generate because of what we our experiences teach us about our responses. So it always does come back to the self. And unfortunately, with all of the technological advancements that have it's been insane. And this is why I've pulled myself away back from it. And I think this is why there are so many people questioning what's going on, because of the chaos that is going on, which is sent to divide, to conquer, to rule. But let's take a step back, because this is the important thing. If you are of that mindset, are you questioning things? Are you wondering what to do next? Are you going, oh my gosh, I'm being made redundant after all these years with the same employer? Are you questioning, oh, right, well, I need to go back to work, but I've been off work with the kids for like the last, 5-10 years. I don't know what to do. Or you are being made redundant, early retirement, as I've said. What is it? Whatever it is. And you're going, I don't know really what to do. Where am I going? Because everything is changing. Everything is changing so fast. We have to keep pivoting. And it's been full on, really, for the last 6 years since we had COVID. And for me, I've had 21 years of change since I got divorced in 2005. Having been with my ex-husband for 20 years. So I've embraced change consistently, and even I've found it really, really giddying, particularly in the last 3 years when I had to see my business go into, well, I had to make the difficult decision to put my business, my recruitment business, into voluntary liquidation because it didn't simply cope with Brexit in the UK, followed by COVID, followed by Liz Truss doing what she did to the economy here. But when change happens, it's because it no longer serves you, and trying to fight to hang on to it doesn't serve you either. So that then brings you back to, well, where am I? Because obviously you've got to shed all of this stuff, all this pattern of behaviour, all of this consistency that you have been programmed into, because actually the unprogramming is the exciting thing. But there is so much more to us than what we have been perceived or have been controlled and conditioned to believe is so. And when you can let go of that and trust your instinct, because we've had so much of it ironed out of us. I've stopped wearing, for those of you watching on video, I rarely wear my Garmin watch now because I don't want to be feeding into the data centres, because this is what is going on. All of this tech, it's tracking us, it's following us, and I think there's such things now as plugging you in, and I don't want to be a computer. Thank you very much. And I was always very resistant to AI. I mean, I do use it, but I've realised now that I've started to rely on it, and that's the brainwashing going on. I digress. It's about using your mind. It's hold on to that. Don't rely upon AI to give you all the answers. You have the answers within, and that's where I come in when I work as a coach, because I can help you find those answers. Now, this isn't a sales pitch, but that is what a good coach will do. We have all the answers within. And I think back, in fact, I was doing that I was reflecting this morning about, right, we use our phones, don't we, all the time for sort of Google Maps, or we're in the car and you've got the Google, whatever it is in the car, sat nav, to tell you where you want to go. And I was thinking, I really must get an up-to-date atlas, not an atlas, a roadmap book. That's not the right word. I mean, and I thought, well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because actually, we didn't used to have road signs or maps or anything like that, because we used to be able to navigate our way around the country, and we used to migrate. We were migratory, people used to walk and travel, and we've been pitted against each other so much so that there are all these boundaries and rules and regulations. And I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but sometimes you can go out in the UK and there is so much signage. You can't read the signs because there are so many signs. Mustn't do this, don't go here, I just thought, oh my gosh. What we've been is programmed not to trust ourselves, not to trust everything. So it's about regaining that. So coming back to, you are at this crossroads. Believe in yourself, trust in yourself. Think about what you enjoyed doing as a child before you became programmed by everything that's going on, the narrative and societal pressures around you. What do you enjoy doing? I'm going back to sort of hands-on stuff. I mean, I've always loved making things, but I've sort of taken a step back and I've spent far too much time in front of a computer, currently refurbishing handbags, and I'm really enjoying it. Okay, it's not going to make me a huge amount of money or a millionairess, but, money, we have been told, is what makes us successful. It's not. Happiness and contentment and rediscovering and being true to yourself away from all this narrative and all this pressure, that's where happiness is found. If I leave you with one thing for now, take some time out to stop, to think, and to tap into what lights you up, what fires you up, what ignites that spark within you. Take time to work on that, and then just really follow your flow. And until next time, this is me, Sarah Naylor, harnessing happiness. Have a wonderful time and enjoy being yourself.
Thanks for listening to the Harnessing Happiness podcast with Sarah J. Naylor. If you took value from the content, please follow the show on your podcast app. And to find out more about Sarah's ape mindset, visit sarahjnaylor.com. That's sarahjnaylor.com.